Unlock essential data handling skills in this SwiftUI and SwiftData tutorial. Learn how to send emails, import, export, CSV and JSON files. This is the app that we will create in this tutorial. As you can see, at the moment there's no contacts in the list. SwiftData is empty. I will now import a JSON payload that includes some test contacts, that includes the contact's name and email addresses. This is the contact or the JSON payload. List of contacts that we have imported is the one that has the time 2:48 p.m. I'll just click on that. Click on done, and then it should import it into SwiftData and into the application. As you can see, the data has now all been imported into SwiftData. And each contact includes a name and an email address. If we want to contact everyone in our list by email, then we just need to select the Select All switch, or click on the Select All button, And as you can see, all of the contacts have been selected. Or you can select the contacts individually. So if I click on the deselect button, it will deselect all of the contacts. And if I want to select a contact individually, for example, Anne, Laura, I can just select them individually. And as I select each contact individually, you can see that the selected count increases by 1. We can also edit a contact by swiping to the left and then clicking on the pencil. If I wanted to edit Anna, I can just swipe to the left and then click on the pencil. And then update the name or the email address. If I want to delete a contact, I just repeat the same process and then click on the bin icon. And that will delete the contact from SwiftData and from the JSON payload. Clicking on the next and previous buttons enable the user to move through the SwiftData record set and display the next 10 records, as I will show you. At the moment we're on page 1. So if I click on next, you can see it goes to page 2, page 3, page 4, 5, 6, it's probably about 10 pages. The app also allows the user to filter or search contacts on name or email. So if I wanted to search on, just say, Michael, I just type in Michael. And then it displays all of the names. That includes the first 4 characters, M-I-C-H, with their email addresses. At the moment, you can see that the record count is, because it's in filtering mode, let's take it out of filtering mode so we can see the actual full record count. The simulator is just so slow. Yeah, you can see that the record count within Swift Data is 100. So we have 100 contacts in the database, in the mailing application. If I add a new contact to the JSON payload, then update and import the updated file into the application, you will see that the total contacts will be incremented by 1, so it will show 101. So I'll do that now. I'll just edit the JSON file, which is on the desktop. Click on edit. Copy and paste the key value pair. I'll just update it to say my name and my email address. Click on save. And just to show you that it will import the data, I'll search for my name now. And it won't be found because my name or email address doesn't exist in the database. As you can see, nothing's found. I'll now import the data that includes the added contact. And then I'll click on the file that states 258, which is the new payload file that's been imported. As you can see, the new contact has been added to the database. So now our count is 101. I'll type my name in, and then it should filter it. As you can see, my name has been retrieved. The data can also be exported to JSON and CSV file format. So if I click on JSON to export as JSON, it will export it as JSON. It's a bit slow on the simulator. And then I can follow the same procedure to export it as CSV. Each email can include a subject and an email body, as shown in the application, the subject heading. And then the email body. The email body contains a template. The purpose of using the open bracket first name that acts as a placeholder where the actual name of the person is dynamically populated via Swift data and sent via email. So within the within the email body, we just type our text. Are you interested in the product? And then when the email is sent, or when we click on the send email button, the email template will be auto generated to include the person's name and an opt-out email message to stop receiving emails. Emails are sent in batches of 10 to enable better performance. And to show you how an email would be sent, I'll just send one to myself. So I deselect all the other ones first, and then just select one, just to send one to myself. And then just click on send emails. But with this app, you could send like literally thousands and thousands, which would be batched in 10. I'll just click on the send email button there. As you can see, the little notification, the email was sent to my email address, and then at the end we should see a little alert on the screen. You should see in a few seconds another alert. Sent batch of 1 email. So this is the tutorial we'll be creating. If you want the full source code and you cannot be bothered to watch the full video, then please remember the source code is available on my Patreon. That helps to support my channel and to purchase new equipment. See the link in the description for more details. And also subscribe if it helped you as well. Welcome to iOS Insights, the channel for iOS app development using SwiftUI and Swift. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. In this tutorial, we will add more functions to the view model to enable emails to be sent. And if there's enough time in this session, we will also add additional functionality to enable batches of emails to be sent to the recipients. The first thing we will do is create a new function called personalized body. Private func personalized body. And the purpose of this function is to enable the application to replace the placeholder in the email body with the contact's first name, as I will demonstrate here. So the first thing that we're doing here on this line, on line 135, we're extracting the name of the contact by using split. As I said in the previous tutorial, so if the contact's name includes a space, for example, just say if it was my name, that includes a space, So we would have to extract or get the first name within the string. And then now that we have the first name within the string, we then need to use body.replace occurrences. And then what we're looking for is the open bracket, close bracket, first name placeholder that we created in the first tutorial. And then where it includes the placeholder, which is first name, which is open bracket first name, close bracket, we replace it with the contact's first name. So as I said before, so if the person's name was like my name, Kevin Reed, it would just extract or include Kevin only, so it would remove the Reed part and it would have the name Kevin as the first name to be included in the email address, and not in the email address but in the email body. So that's what that function does. The next function we need to create is the send batch function that I mentioned before. So to do that we have to use @main_actor, and this will ensure that any UI updates are performed on the main thread. Function send batch async. Batch, and this function accepts an array of contacts asynchronously. The next thing we need to do is to create or include our SendGrid endpoint URL. Guard let URL equals URL, which is a string, and then we type the name of our endpoint, https api.sendgrid.com v3 mail send. Else we just exit the function if it cannot be unwrapped. So if it contains nil, there's nothing in the variable. If we do have data, then we can loop through our contacts, as in loop through our batches. That's in our parameter, our function parameter variable. And then within the loop, we have to create a post request, URL request, URL. So that will send the emails to the SendGrid API. request.http methods equals post, so we're doing a post action. The next thing we need to do is to set the authorization header, and to set it you have to include your SendGrid API. Request.setValue, so we use our bearer token, and then you just include whatever your bearer token is. I'm not going to include my real bearer token, just going to include like random information. And then you would have to include authorization for the HTTP header field. We would also need to set the content type. Since we are posting JSON, it's important to specify the values, the data that we'll be posting. So this will be application JSON, and the content type, and the for header field will be content type. The next thing we need to do is to prepare the email payload for the specific contact. Let payload string any. Then we have to include some personalization. It's a bit messy. Within our personalization, we have to include who we want the email to be sent to. And I said before, you can always download the source code from my Patreon. The link is in the description, or you can email me directly. Contacts. So for each of the records in our array, it will extract the contact's email for the specified contact. So if this was John's email, it will extract or include John's email. If it was Mohammed's email, it would extract Mohammed's email. If it was Michael's, it would extract Michael's email from the array. And then the subject as well. Then we also have to include the sender. The sender is coming from my account, my email account, which is email Kevin. There should be a comma here as well. It is a bit messy, as you can see. I think it should be like this. Kevin at iOS insights.co.uk. We need another comma. And then we need the content. Square brackets. We need the type as we're sending the email as text. HTML. We also need the value. And then we call our personalized body method, passing our contact. As you saw earlier at the beginning of this tutorial session, that will extract the person's first name. So that should just be contact. For contact. In our loop, that should be contact and not contacts. I think there's a problem with formatting. The next thing we need to do is to convert the payload to JSON data. Do the guard statement, guard let body data equals try JSON serialization data with JSON object payload that we want to convert to JSON. Else if the data cannot be unwrapped, then we just display an error message, fail to encode email payload. And then we just continue. So that means we just skip the contact if the encoding fails. Just remember, we're still inside the loop. Yeah, the other thing we need to do is to send a request and await for a response. So the response that we're waiting for is the response from the SendGrid API. URL session shared upload for request. And we're uploading the body data. And then what's happening there? Try wait. Oh, because we need to have a catch block at the end. We'll do that afterwards. So what we need to do now is to check if the response is successful or unsuccessful. So we need to use an if statement. If let http response equals response, http URL response, http response status code. If it's equal to 202, that means the emails have been sent. Email sent to contact.email. Else there was an error and the email failed, couldn't be sent, failed to send to contact.email. Then we attempt to catch any errors that may happen. And this error could be a network error for contact. Error.localize description. And then we have to do a few other things, such as, since we're sending batches or emails every 10 seconds, we need to create a little task or sleep event that will wait 10 seconds to send the next email. So we do that after line 172. So that will be try, await, task, sleep, which will be 10 seconds. This specifies 10 seconds. And then at the end of this function, we need to notify the completion that the entire batch of emails have been sent. So this would all be notified on the UI or sent to the UI. To the content view, for example, sent batches of batch.count. For example, sent 5 batches of emails. So if it sent 5 batches of emails, that would be like 50 emails that were sent. I'll just compile it. In our next tutorial, we'll create the actual functionality that sends or that creates the actual batches for the actual emails. Because at the moment, it's not creating the actual batches at the moment, but it will send the emails, but it's not creating the batches. So we will do that in the next tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials.